Hi. Before we get into this episode, I would like to thank 5 people. 5 people like Michelle Grimmer, Thomas Maglio, Volpes, Stephen, and Chris Roy. All 5 of these people have generously gone to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and pledged some money to keep this show and others like it on the network going. Thank you so much, and thank you to anybody else who might be considering doing that. Okay, on with the show.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, which is an Ecclesia game, Metroidvania game, developed and published by Konami for the Nintendo DS in 2008.
Yeah, the swan song of this this kind of mini-series here.
Yeah.
And this is June's premium episode. And unlike the last several episodes, this was produced by Gary and Cole.
Yeah, we
wanted to play it.
Yep. We needed something that would fit into this, and I love this game.
Me too.
This is really good, and I had wanted to come back to it for a while, so we took the opportunity.
Yes, and it's been a minute.
Yeah,
since we've done one of these. Not that we've done a Metroidvania, because this year has been kind of heavy in Metroidvanias, but it's been a while since we have done something in the Castlevania series.
Yes, the last one we did was actually Symphony of the Night, I think. I forget if we did the original Castlevania live show before or after we did Symphony of the Night. But this is it's a series that I love.
Me too. And this is all just paving the way for the eventual Castlevania 2 Redemption episode.
I'll come at that guns blazing.
Yep. I got my 6 guns. And 6 shooters as well. It's a gun related podcast posture. That's what we got going on when it comes to Castlevania 2. Largely because of the soundtrack for me. So in this game, you play as Shanoa, which I also kept calling, whenever I read it, I kept calling it Shanwao. Shanao. I just kept thinking different ways, but Shanoa, I think, is how it's pronounced. I don't know if they say it out loud in the speech parts.
Yeah, Shanoa, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Shanoa, who is an amnesiac servant of the Order of Ecclesia, and you use this glyph magic, and the Order does, to keep Dracula at bay in the absence of the Belmont clan. We are Belmontless. Repeat. Belmontless.
Yeah, this is the 19th century. This is when in the timeline the Belmont clan kind of dissolved. This is the first Castlevania game that has a female protagonist, or at least the first mainline Castlevania game, and also the only Castlevania game, the only main one that does not have the vampire killer whip in it somewhere.
Yeah. People rending garments. What a TV trope's broken base. this is.
It's but it plays so well. Like none of that canon stuff matters. Yeah, it's
very different, but it's rad.
Yeah.
Shanoa is awesome. And I don't care about missing that whip.
Yeah.
I love a whip.
There have been so many of the games where you don't even use the whip, really. It's just kind of used by a character in the background.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, just an optional whip. And it's like, that was always a silly thing to fight a vampire with in the first place. You fight him with wooden stakes, man. Like it's like I know a thing or two about vampires, and they're not weak against whips. Nobody's weak against whips, you know,
except for farm animals who are very dumb and don't like loud noises.
Yeah, horses don't like being whipped.
And this is, a big departure, not just because of those little lore reasons, especially on like portable systems. Basically, for the entire decade of the aughts. Starting with Circle of the Moon, you ended up being really used to having the Symphony of the Night style exploration, kind of thing where you are in one big place that you are kind of crisscrossing back and forth and getting abilities. This kind of goes back to is a hybrid between the Symphony of the Night style and a more stage-based kind of design.
Yeah, which is the other reason why it made sense for us to do it. Like, we've done Symphony of the Night. I'm not saying we'll never do like Dawn of Sorrow, because I like that game a lot.
Yep.
We'll do other Ecclesia games, but there's less to kind of talk about them with that. Excuse that noise, listeners. I have addressed the problem.
Okay.
Pocket, stop it, dude. Okay, sorry. Like, he just, like, I squirted him and he like ran away from it, and he looked over his shoulder like, maybe one last big score. And I was like, no last big score. I'm
a playful baby.
Podcast.
Yeah,
he is a playful baby. He's gonna need lots
Milton.
of attention. Little Milton. So since we've already done Symphony of the Night, the early Ecclesia portable Castlevanias, we're all kind of chasing that.
Yeah.
And to me, never quite get it. Like, I like those games a lot, actually, but I don't like any of them as much as Symphony of the Night, except for this one.
Right.
And the reason why I like this as much is because it's so different. I think that hybridization works really, really well, but this will end up being a cilantro-ass game. People. Like, there will be people who listen to this are like, oh, I can't believe you guys like that. Give me Neo Tokyo Mega Dracula in the anime zone. And I'm like, no, give me this incredibly difficult stage-based Castlevania that also gives you a cool castle to explore. Yeah, if you're just a little patient.
Yeah, if you just like the back third of the game is what you want. It's there. You get everything.
Yeah, it is all things to all people.
Right. The kind of the second departure for this, especially among the trilogy of portable Castlevanias that this is a part of, and even a departure from Symphony of the Night. This is a hard game. Castlevania kind of moved away from difficulty for a while, kind of in favor of exploration, in favor of a little bit more, I would say, expression in the way that you get around. This is not difficult in the way that like Castlevania 3 is difficult. We're going to get, knocked into bottomless pits. There are no bottomless pits or anything. This is like an exploration of the Castlevania combat system more than anything.
Which is really interesting because that is something that has been backseated for quite a while. Like it does have a lot in common with those early Castlevanias. The difficulty, it's less cheap. But those games were also about, when we covered Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3, going back to those, it's like, this is not bad stiff controls. This is, knowing how many stun, frames you get when you hit an enemy and timing around it and stuff. It's about planning. It's slow and deliberate. This game has a lot of that DNA to it. And it is consequently like there are bosses in Symphony of the Night, and we'll put the Lobos disclaimer out there. Like, of course you can no damage all the bosses, but it's not even the worst because I love Symphony of the Night, but at its like most basic, Symphony of the Night, like boss fights become weird, like old Resident Evil boss fights where there are DPS races that are testing your healing resources. Like you just kind of have to tank a lot of damage. And what this game did was say, like, actually, we don't want to do that. Like, not only are we going to encourage you not to take damage, like give you a little trophy, like acknowledge it, but we're going to make it possible and also like tantalizingly like right within your view to not take damage during these bosses. I didn't ace any of these. I didn't no damage any of them, but I got close like several times, and it was really fun to just be like, oh yeah, this is fair. Yeah. Like this is an old school pattern based boss that I am looking for tells and avoiding the hurt boxes based on different tells. Like that is the series doesn't really do that before this, like, or this little miniature series of it. Yeah. Like it's, in Symphony of the Night, like I remember several bosses being a thing where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to take a good amount of damage, but I'm going to heal through. Same thing with Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Which it's based on the way Super Metroid handled that was giving you 1,000,000 hit points. The way Symphony of the Night handles it is giving you 1,000,000 healing items.
Yeah.
Here, healing items are limited. You're discouraged from doing that, and you're encouraged to find these patterns.
And you accomplish this. You get those low hit runs. You master these boss fights through a very satisfying integration, not just of observing patterns and learning the move sets of your different of the different bosses. I think that this like weirdly has some Souls stuff in it. Like this feels like a 2D Souls game to me to a certain degree. But you're doing that in addition to picking your gear and picking your glyphs and finding a route of attack and figuring out which support skill you're going to use in order to like soak up those projectiles or get you around the arena. It's just a really nice interplay between avatar skill and player skill.
Yeah. Well, and it being a thing where it's not just, it is that intersection because the player skill is obviously the dodging attacks. And then there's a player, non-reflex based skill in terms of like finding weaknesses.
Yeah.
And utilizing weapon arcs and stuff. So keeping in mind where an enemy is in relation to you and which weapons will hit the most of that hitbox ended up being a huge like sea change for me. Like if you are struggling on a boss, it could be because it's hard, but you always have that sense of like, I'm going to go back and try something different.
Yeah.
Maybe the axe is what I need for this. Oh, and like, oh shit, that hits twice and I can hit when I'm safe.
Yeah.
With this different movement arc.
So it's not just a matter of like, oh, this does piercing damage and this thing is resistant to that. It is also a matter of like the move set and how many damage frames it has in it. Like, can you, does this expose you to danger when you use it? Or can you use something that has like a longer range or a different arc of attack, et cetera, down the line? Like there's an awful lot that you have to like consider when you're going against even just regular enemies in this.
Yes. And what it does by differentiating your verb set like that is upset the curve of, in Symphony of the Night, or other Igavanias, there is an expressiveness to play in terms of like choosing which weapon you want. But there's also this is the best weapon that you can get.
Race for the crystal.
Like exactly. Like when we did Symphony of the Night, I was surprised by how similar it was to all of my previous playthroughs. That I had done. Where like you just okay, I got this sword, I got the ice brand. Now this is the stretch of the game in which I use the ice brand, or what have you. This is the shield rod stretch of the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of set in stone. And here, as opposed to it just being what you find, it's what tools do I want to bring to this enemy. There's still an optimal path, but it's less like climbing a mountain. It's less like a linear. You just get better and better equipment.
Yeah. It rewards you for experimenting and kind of knowing what each of these different weapon types are going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real cool. There are still, RPG elements. So you level up in this game. You have different gear that you get, clothing, different kinds of glyphs. You get consumables. And these are all things that you're going to use to kind of mitigate that difficulty, even though there are limits placed on a lot of this stuff.
Yes. Yeah. You've got stats, your regular strength and dexterity, and those interplay with different types of damage, different glyphs and things like that. But your biggest advancements are going to come from upgrades that you find in the world. These HP up, MP up, and heart up potions. So you are going to want to be pressing against the walls and looking for kind of secret areas where these things might be. Again, using your Castlevania exploration sense. Like, yes, there is a wall here. Like this is a place where a treasure chest might, or like it should be. I can stand here and press down and like bring one up where it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still that sense of secrets, even though it does have that old school Castlevania DNA to it.
Yes.
So instead of having weapons and spells separately, you just have glyphs. The way glyphs work is you can assign them to different buttons. There are different types here, and you absorb them from the environment or steal them from enemies when they use them. Sometime, or when an enemy dies. So an enemy dies, they can drop theirs, an enemy can start to use theirs, or sometimes you just find them.
Yeah. Or you can steal them from bosses when they're doing their thing. Yeah. That's really fun to do. This is so much more satisfying to me than the soul drop system from the Soma Castlevania games.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that system. And this would be maddening if I were seeking to get every glyph or level every glyph up. There are familiar glyphs that can be leveled. That would drive me nuts. Yes. So I'm not saying this is perfect because there still is an RNG, element to it that is not great, but I still prefer it as well.
Yeah.
So both attack buttons can get a glyph, and they can be any type of attack, like a spell or weapon glyph, and then you have a support slot glyph, and this gives you a lot of flexibility. You can do two of the same glyph. Or even two different glyphs and kind of do combos.
Love that.
With each other. They'll interface in different ways. Like there is some soulsness to this where you are committed to animation, but there is also animation canceling in this through using your dash, which we'll talk about. So you can, there's a little bit, quite a bit more complexity to this in terms of combos than you might think.
Yeah. Or you can have a weapon and a spell and make it more like a standard, Castlevania kind of thing. You can have a sword and then equip the axe as a secondary one, and boom, when you press your secondary attack, you throw an axe in an arc like you would expect to in a Castlevania game. And messing around with these, finding the combination that is right is pretty satisfying. Something that kind of complicates this is that all of these draw from your MP meter, and you might think, okay, that's weird. Swinging a sword drains my MP? Well, no, think of it like a stamina meter. It regenerates very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's basically so you cannot spam, in an unlimited way.
Right.
But it is something you take into account when you're choosing your glyphs. So heavier hitting glyphs do tend to take more stamina. I never once in my head referred to this as MP. It's even the color coded for stamina. Blue is the color of MP. Green is the color of stamina.
Right.
Green or yellow or whatever color this is.
It's green.
Green. Hey, got it in one. I got it in 1.5. So I always thought of this as stamina, and that was also just another factor in the kind of matrix of complexity of the combat here.
So you don't just have MP, and you do not just have the regular use attacks. You've got these glyph unions that you can do. By pressing up and an attack, you do this kind of special that most times will cover a lot of space and do a lot of damage. What attack results from this kind of depends on the combination of things that you have equipped. Of glyphs, so element and shape of attack and things like that. And these draw down on your heart meter. And you collect hearts from the environment, or more often you restock on them in your home base.
Yeah, this is a huge difference than how hearts are treated in other Castlevanias. Hearts always powered sub-weapons previous to that. Here, it's like they're very hard to refill in the field.
Yeah.
It is something where you leave town with a certain amount of this resource and then generally want to save these for tough situations or bosses.
Right.
To kind of spam them on that and get a lot of damage very quickly. But really, really hard to refill. As opposed to a more traditional Castlevania where you're running around breaking lamps to get a steady stream of hearts. This makes your bread and butter things regenerate on their own, which is great. And then turns hearts into this special kind of consideration that you have. And budgeting that between trips to town was really compelling to me. Like, am I going to face a boss? How many hearts do I need to save for the boss? If I'm not going to face a boss, is there one enemy that pops up that is a huge pain in the ass that I need to address immediately?
Yeah.
I just need to DPS down as soon as possible before they can get a hit off.
Yeah. This adds meaning to the stage exits that you can find, and also the teleport kind of things. You might think, okay, the teleporters, why would you need those when the areas are smaller? Usually the teleporter would take you kind of like from one level to another within the larger castle. Well, here, when you find a teleporter room, like this might give you a chance to go to get closer to an exit to go back to town. So you don't have to use one of your magical tickets to get out and, re-up on your hearts that you might have used too much of too early. You might be able to tell, you might want to teleport to a save point, which will recover all of your HP, like a bonfire does,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, this interplays with the consumable system in this in a way as well, where healing items are expensive, pretty limp, until you start putting real money into them.
Right.
And you're limited to holding 9 of them of any individual type. So as opposed to a Symphony of the Night where you're just loaded up, like I'm full of, I'm a machine that's full of beef, beef machine is what I am, Alucard, and just absolutely full of snacks. I've got maybe 1 or 2 snacks. They do a pittance, in terms of healing. I have, 5 shitty potions and 1 decent potion.
And that decent potion is fucking expensive.
Yeah, the potions are so expensive. So, and you're limited in how many you can carry. So when you go back to town, if you are swimming in cash, which it's hard to become in this game, you have that Estus-like limit on how many full heals or good heals you can have.
Right.
And town can function as that as well. It's not just something where you can just stock up and just heal your way to brute force past most problems.
Right. But there are options for that. Like there's gear. There's a ring you can get, the Emperor ring. You have a lot of rings that are kind of coded after the tarot cards, right? And the Emperor ring will double the effectiveness of healing items. So like, okay, do I want to have that? Do I want to use one of my 2 ring slots for that, or would I be better off, using that for a different set of stat ups or a different kind of innate bonus?
Yes. Yeah. Or, and you only have 2 ring slots. So that's actually a huge part of the equipment thing in this, because the upgrades on the ring slots are interesting and meaningful. Things that give you increased drop or increased luck are really important, especially when there is a chance to get a rare glyph from an enemy. Several of the highest level basic weapon glyphs are dropped by enemies. They're not found in the environment. So, having high luck when you go through the area with the guys with the big hammers is how you're going to get the gigantic hammer.
Yeah.
If you want that. But that is such a meaningful thing you're giving up. Like you are giving up the Emperor, so you're giving up greater healing, or you're giving up like the Justice ring, which scales your strength with how many enemies you've killed, like total in the game.
Yeah.
And eventually can become something that really, really ups your DPS.
Yeah. The tower one, which like stops you from being knocked back, like gives you a little bit of a poise, things like that. And you find these at a pretty decent clip, like up until like the last area when you find the death ring, which is one of the most interesting trade-offs I've seen in one of these, which is like massive stat ups, but you die in 1 hit.
Yeah. Which just, it interfaces really well with the bosses, giving you a reward for acing the bosses, or having that be an incentive. It's a cosmetic reward. It's an emblem, it's a trophy, but it's not, it is something the game knows you want to do.
Yes. Is subtly kind of encouraging you, pushing you into doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the most meaningful equipment. Of course, there's all kinds of little Castlevania detailed equipment kind of things, cute hats and dresses and stuff that have different effects. There is less equipment in this than most games of this genre.
Right. Yeah,
considerably so. It
is funny how there are 2 kind of different tracks you can be on, either armor or dresses. Actually,
yeah,
that boost kind of different glyphs that you might have. So you talked about like getting the strongest sword or something like that. I just want to like talk for a second about how funny it is that there is sword, swordra, and swordga.
Yeah, swordaga.
Swordaga.
Yeah. You start off with these basic, like 5, I think it's 5 weapons, and then there are 3 levels of them.
Yes.
And the weapons do a decent job of being trade-offs between each other. The rapier and the the sword are pretty different. Typically, I would choose the sword for that because it fit my playstyle. But there were times where having fast attacks would be useful.
Yeah.
And then you kind of cycle through that. So you have the level 1 sword, and then you find the level 2 rapier, which is better than the level 1 sword and faster. So you do that until you find the level 2 sword.
Right.
Just as an example, like that part of the power curve is pretty linear, but there was no point in which, like, a large portion of the end of this game, I didn't use a weapon at all, and I used the Earth Fist magic as my melee. You're not locked into those weapons.
No. It's real fun to roll around just as a caster. It's super effective, and like magic is not as finite of a resource in this. So like there were
it's
some
not
like
finite at all.
Yeah. So, usually you think, okay, I'm gonna save this. No, that you're saving your glyph unions. But if you get, like for me, the early Luminatio spell that just kind of created a spiral of lights around you. Like super important, like even at the end, like to keep Medusa heads away when you're climbing up the clock tower, right?
And useful for some of the places, like we're heaping tons of sugar on this game. This game does not have a perfect difficulty curve.
No.
It's really hard. There are difficulty spikes that are inadvisable in it. That spell is specifically really good for that, where you're poking against an area that maybe feels a little bit overpowered and you need to be safe while attacking enemies.
So we talk about needing to be adaptive with your loadouts and things like that. This would be a frustrating menu tax, and sometimes it does end up being frustrating menu tax. However, early on you find a relic called the Glyph sleeve that lets you kind of set up loadouts, so you can have an A, B, and C set of moves, so you can switch between them on the fly without jumping into a menu.
And that's great. The idea, when you talk about it sometimes being a menu tax, eventually your tools that you can fit in these slots out kind of pace the amount of, kind of quick slots you have. So, early on, though, this was really good for having like, okay, this is my vertical, this is my arcing weapon loadout. This is my straightforward loadout, and this is my utility loadout. The way this ends up getting most annoying is things that should have just been assigned to a button being a glyph.
Magnus.
Magnus, the one that lets you go through walls. The one that lets you go through walls should just be always on.
Right.
Going into a thing to equip that is pretty annoying. But this is for a while, this is a really, really elegant solution to this. And even sometimes you can equip between in battle. So like the support spells that are buffs are actually pretty meaningful. So the ones that boost your strength or boost your defense. And there were bosses where I would use one for the opening when I was draining all my hearts, and then would switch to the defense one for when I had to whittle down the rest of the HP. That stuff's neat. It's a level of complexity I have not seen in a Castlevania for a while.
So
you also have some very good. It's a really fun game. You have some baked in moves that kind of everybody can use. You can use in a loadout that are very important. A backstep dodge, which this is really good and satisfying and necessary early on. You eventually can get a ring or an item that gives it iframes. I think they should have had iframes from the beginning. A slide, and then a kick jump, like a Chun-Li kind of kick jump.
That lets you kind of bounce off of items in the environment, and also do bounce from enemy to enemy. I think there's something it was like a hat or a ring, something like that.
It's boots.
It's boots, that are made for kick jumping. That increase.
That's just what they'll do.
That increase your attack if you do enough kick jumps.
Every successive kick jump does more damage, like Paper Mario or something. That's really fun. I fucked around with that a little while. It's not that effective,
right?
Even though I'm sure there are Lobos-esque like build, like I kick jumped every boss without getting hit.
But it's satisfying to do. The backstep dodge feels necessary in this in a good way. The slide is very good for bigger bosses to get around their get around their projectiles.
Good stuff. It's limited. I did find early on wishing they had gone all out and just given you a dodge roll. During it. I understand this was kind of before that became part of our
the collective vocabulary. Yeah.
Vocab. Yeah. But the backstep, I think, does a really good job. And if that had iframes in it, it would have basically functioned as such. There are also 2 movement gimmicks, kind of Metroidvania gimmicks. One of them is a double jump. So of course you have a double jump. Well, there's a few of these. There's a flying one as well.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple. Yeah. There's a couple of these, but the early on ones are double jump, and then Magnus, which is kind of the highlight gimmick of this game, which is kind of a grapple. You create this magnetic field around yourself, and then there are anchors in the environment that you can kind of hover on and launch yourself back and forth between, or use it to get around and use in some boss fights.
Yeah.
To stay safe. There is an item you can get for completing one of the optional challenge zones. It allows you to put these anywhere in the environment. That's really cool. I didn't get it.
Same.
So,
yeah. Magnus is neat. I kind of found myself thinking that it was underutilized a little bit. There are whole like levels and stretches where it's not really kind of baked in.
Well, if they kept it baked in, you wouldn't be able to use anything in your support.
This is true.
They should have made it just a button. Like, this should never have been a glyph. So
so we talked about Simon's Quest a little bit early on. Something that kind of brings all of these stages together is the fact that you have a home base. The home base being a town that you are kind of populating with these NPCs. Who all have dialogue and some backstories and side quests for you to do.
And they're all thirsty as hell.
Specifically for Shanoa.
Man and woman alike. Yeah. Yep. Like to a man, to a woman, this town wants to fuck Shanoa. The Sundare princess with no emotions. So this is, similar to like a Soul Blazer or have you Dark Cloud, something like that. When you start out, there's only one NPC and then like healing pots, like ways to kind of refresh in town. But as you rescue NPCs and their cats, they start showing up there, and they will give you side quest to do particular tasks or find specific items, and then this will either restock their shops or give you big, individual item kind of bonuses. So this is cool. These vary.
Yes.
There are quests that I think are really neat, and there are quests that are engaged with pigtail shit. You're not quite pigtail, but like I never did the soundtrack one because I never got the horsehair to drop, so I couldn't get the violin guy his strings.
Right.
Yeah,
and just like pigtail, for anybody who's not aware of that, like you are depending on a pretty finicky random number generator. You do have the ability to give yourself luck. To boost your luck and go and hope that the right thing drops. However, not all of them are like that. Like some of my favorite ones were like the vague description of the room that you had to go take a photograph or do a sketch of.
The photography one's great.
Yeah.
Like all the photography ones are really fun, I think. And the sketch one is really cool too.
Yeah.
They're probably my 2 favorites.
Yeah, but it's a lot of flavor. It's good. I think that like if you are approaching this and you want to do a minimum of the rare drop stuff, really the only NPC that does that you really, really need to engage with is Aeon the cook. Because the potions are expensive and the basic one is not very good. Food items that Aeon can make when you bring him ingredients like first salt and then killer fish meat, those populate the store with some cheaper healing items that will help you. If you are like me and not necessarily super great at this, it will help you heal through some of the more difficult encounters.
Yeah. The food one is a little bit obnoxious the way it has to drop. For some reason, I had really bad luck with salt. The rare meat or whatever, like the tasty meat, one I got, pretty easily just because of luck. But salt, I had a really hard time finding. And some of these are literally Castlevania 2 style counterintuitive. So like, merman meat does not come from mermen who you fight. It comes from a very specific kind of, weird sea critter thing you fight. But generally, the other thing about these guys is that the back half of the game is hidden behind rescuing them all.
Yes.
So this has, cooler implementation of the upside down castle kind of thing, where that as a reward, we talked about that. I love Symphony of the Night dearly. The upside down castle, the level design is not nearly as good and powerful.
Yeah, it's an A+ reveal with a D level attached to it.
Yeah. Whereas this is, probably like a B or a C level kind of requirement. Just collect all the collecty things, but you get the whole half of the game. Like you have not, really played Order of Ecclesia if you don't do this bit, because it gives you the castle.
Yeah.
Like a full micro Dracula castle.
Yeah. And like this is something like it's weirdly a tradition of the portable Metroidvania Castlevanias, like, man, the one that you have, the one that you have to do for Curse of, or for Dawn of Sorrow rather, is ridiculous. The rare like souls and stuff. Like here though, the majority of the NPCs that you're going to need are directly on your path. There are only like 2 that were like, oh, you've got to destroy a wall to get through and find it. So
and it's always satisfying to find them as well, because it means a new quest and new upgrades and stuff like that. Like they're meaningful. So they're not just collectibles.
Yes.
They're human beings with souls and brains. Doing this made me want to replay all of the portable Castlevanias pretty badly.
It makes my heart ache that is something that's probably not in the cards to me for the next month.
Yeah, I don't know when I'll get a chance to, because I'm doing all these portable Resident Evils right now. Like, fuck, man, there's not enough time, hours in a day. But what would be just like an absolute A+ thing would be start porting compilations of those to Switch.
Yeah.
3 to a cart, 3 to a set, like just fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Give me those shits. Day one purchase.
Yeah. Konami does not care about us. So
well, they could have 150 of my dollars like right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my big gaudy stimulus check right now in front of it. I would gladly put part of that to this.
Yeah. It just, you'll save America by spending money
on a Japanese company by doing Switch ports. So
it doesn't matter. Like you think, oh, well, how terrible would it be? We're going to lose the touchscreen stuff. That's fine. Get rid of the touchscreen stuff. You're good.
Yeah. It's literally ported out. It's the worst thing about Dawn of Sorrow.
Yes.
The feeling of beating one of those bosses and not doing the glyph in time is one of my least favorite gaming feelings.
Yes. Hall of Shame.
Yeah. What a horrible gaming feeling. Like I like that game a lot. That's a bad gaming feeling though. And I care about gaming feelings as a feeling gamer.
As a feeling gamer American.
As a feeling gamer. As an emotional gamer American.
As a sensitive gamer.
Yeah. I'm the opposite of the Shanoa. I got all of Shanoa's emotions, and now they're in me. I'm like the curse-rotted Greatwood. I'm all like full of them, or like a firekeeper. I'm all roiling with emotions.
Yep, just bubbling under your skin.
Yeah.
Like the other games, kind of in this strain of Castlevanias, there is an alternate play mode that opens up after you beat the game. You've got a hard mode, but then you've also got Albus mode. Albus is kind of your initial villain that you're chasing after in this. Yeah.
So think like Richter mode in Symphony of the Night. He does not have as much in the RPG elements, but has a steady kind of moveset. I did not fuck around with this too much. Right. I did a little bit, but I had to move on to other stuff. I did watch this morning a tool-assisted speedrun of Albus mode, which is hilarious because it uses the teleport move that he has, which just looks like when Homer slides on the grease. And it just
nobody loves oily Homer.
Not oily Homer. The one where he's trying to get disability.
Oh, gotcha.
So he slides on the grease and like little help. He gets pushed back. So Albus looks like that, and during the stages where there's jumps and stuff, like it breaks it up. But some of these stages are just a big long flat line, and it's just him going through all the enemies from one end to another.
What's that mean? Where the thing goes flying through space, like shooting stars or something like that?
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yes,
but this I like that they include these. And I've never completed any of them. I always just think it would be cool. I haven't played through Richter mode. I've gotten pretty far in Richter mode, but then I'm like,
I think I did the one in Aria of Sorrow. That was good, but or playing as Julius.
Yeah, but Maria mode is real good. Yeah, the new. But Aesthetically, this game is beautiful. It's a nice mix of old Castlevania enemies and new Castlevania enemies. And I'm sure we brought this up during Symphony of the Night, but I just want to throw this out there. Secret, understated, like absolute MVP of the Castlevania games is death animations. I don't think there's a game series that has as consistent a quality across the board, excepting perhaps like the new Doom.
Right.
Games, but like everything when it dies, it is just an absolutely beautiful over the top.
Goes into like just a fun, gory routine. Yeah.
Yep. The fish thing that jumps out as its skeleton and then shatters on the ground. Like all of it is so good.
Yeah.
Just absolutely beautiful. And like, yes, they are reusing enemies. That's what all these games do. You know, but there are plenty of new ones in this.
Yeah. Very good, big, cool, gorgeous boss sprites are put in here. Yeah.
Yeah. And the music is generally really good. There is tons of weird like game show jazz.
Yep.
That mountain pass thing. Like I think this is your edit.
Yeah. Maybe.
So not to backseat edit, but you
don't worry. I love that mountain pass song, man. Like,
because it's so fucking silly. It's like what? There's no intensity to this at all. Like, I don't feel in danger.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to win prizes. Like, this is fucking, it's weird as hell.
Yeah. Like, I mean, so we're recording this after, after we recorded the episode of Bonfire Side Chat about the Kingsfield 4 soundtrack. Man, like sometimes you need dorky instrumentation and like just a skosh of jazz.
I don't want to listen to jazz in real life. Like, I'm not a jazz guy, but
it's a fun ingredient
little bit to video game music. It's a really good ingredient. Yeah. Just like a little bit. It's like tomatoes with me. Like, I'm not going to just like sit there and eat a tomato like an apple, but throw a little bit of tomato. Yeah. I'm in, you know?
Yeah. I don't like a big old slice of tomato, but like just some pico. That's good.
Yeah. A little pico de gallo. Yeah. This is the salsa.
Yeah.
Different kind of music, but it's so dorky. And sometimes it just is classic bangers, like the Ecclesia music, like the actual home bass music.
that awesome organ,
yeah, that's incredible. Like really good soundtrack. They also you can find CDs that have old Castlevania music, and you put them on from the menu. So you're just like, I want to listen to Castlevania 1 music, and then that turns into the stage music.
Why not?
And there's we mentioned there's an NPC that has quest lines to get more classic Castlevania music if you'd rather use that, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. Just another note about the art style. This is kind of a return to the art style that came. Let's say it was Aria of Sorrow and before, kind of the more wispy painterly style, as opposed to kind of a broader anime kind of style that you had for Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruin. Your taste is going to differ. I fucking love the wispy painting classic style.
Yeah. All these character portraits are wonderful.
Yeah.
Just like really, really good looking. So this is definitely my preference as opposed to like Neo Tokyo shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm curious if you found anything. I did not find a lot of development details about this. Just, either on the usual sources that I go to or by doing searches for like interviews and things like that. This just has not been documented very much.
No, well, it's kind of a black sheep.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like I had a similar experience. There's a lot of cut content, but none of it is interesting.
Right.
It's all like menus and stuff like that. I was trying to find things that might suggest different directions and such. And it feels like a fairly assured product, like a fairly confident thing.
Yeah.
Based on that. So I had a similar experience. We know it was made by the same team who did Portrait of Ruin, which is also good. And this came out when Castlevania games were also coming out on the PSP.
Right.
So it's kind of past the Nintendo dominance of handheld.
Yeah. And like this was made during the development process for, Lord of Shadow as well.
Yeah.
And it came out like right alongside Castlevania Judgment, the really bad 3D fighting game, for the Wii.
Have we done that for Abject Suffering yet?
No, we ought to.
Yeah, that seems like a no-brainer.
There's a character whose like sole quest line, like her story is that she wishes that she had bigger breasts.
Yep.
That's kind of the shit that is dealing with. But there was some
perhaps Konami deserved to die. I don't know.
Yeah,
You shouldn't do that kind of shit.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
There was some there was some crossover. Like there was some like connectivity to that. So like if you linked Castlevania Judgment with Order of Ecclesia on your DS by Wi-Fi, you would just get a helmet that like doubled all your stats.
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
Looking to get people to buy that stuff. That is such a weird, also ran kind of thing in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like get the related game on the portable and have them unlock bonuses for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a weird, like that was such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
specifically
10,
like on
ago.
GameCube, it was a replacement for the fact that they it kind of stepped on a rake when it came to not doing online. So like any game that was multi-platform, like they, we don't have online, but if you have a Game Boy Advance, you can get this and get extra stuff. Yeah.
Super strange.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a little bit of that stuff. Yeah. The nice thing is by the time this came out, they kind of realized that touch controls were not additive. There are touch controls in this. Mm-hmm. If you're Albus, that is how you do your teleport. If you're Shinoa, if you have the owl familiar, they will attack where you tap on the screen. That is more of an Easter egg than anything. That is not useful.
Fly my pretties. Yeah.
Fly my pretties. But yeah, touch controls on the DS were a huge mistake in everything other than Rhythm Heaven. So get them shits out of there.
Yes. Yep. And, by 2008, just everybody was more confident. They didn't have to sell in a gimmick. They could just make a banger of a game like this. Yeah. Although sometimes making a banger of a game isn't enough. One of the things that I read with Igarashi, an interview with Igarashi around the end of this era, kind of revealed something that probably explains why Konami stopped making these. Which is that Castlevania games were a weirdly bad economic prospect. They're more popular in America. They are really expensive to develop compared to other DS games. They use high capacity cards, and generally, especially in America, you had to sell DS games at a lower price point. So even though this might have been a $60 value proposition, you're going to put it out at $40. On the DS because that's what the market demanded.
So that's a bummer. And probably one of the factors that led to this being the last full 2D Castlevania game that Igarashi would work on before leaving the company in 2014 and starting to work on Bloodstained, which I still not played because 2.5D is ugly to me.
Yes.
Someday I will play it.
Mm-hmm.
Konami would make more, but he would not.
Yes, Konami would move on, like we said, to do the Lords of Shadow games that had a spinoff for the 3DS that kind of used this style a little bit. It was like a 2.5D kind of thing that is also available on PC. That is Mirror of Fate is what that spinoff is. You mostly just hear mixed things about it. The only the actual swan song for these was Harmony of Despair, which was like an online co-op arcade game that used these assets and these characters.
Yes. Yeah. It seems like this naming convention thing that they married themselves to might have bit them in the ass because
maybe
if you had just told me Harmony of Despair is a really good portable Metroidvania I hadn't played, I'd believe you because they all have the same cadence of
right. Well, also like Harmony of Despair, I look at that and I think, wait, didn't they make Harmony of Dissonance too? Yeah. That was the follow-up to Circle of the Moon.
Yeah, Despair is different than Dissonance, but it's also not that different,
right?
They mean different things, but it's in the same ballpark,
right?
I've not fucked with any of the Lords of Shadow or Mirror of Fate or Harmony of Despair.
Yes,
I'm good. Generally, Castlevania for me needs to be like this, or I don't care.
Right.
And 2.5D, it does address that cost problem a little bit, right? Like 2.5D is famously cheaper to do.
Yeah.
Than full
specifically animation. You're not hand drawing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just looks 1,000 times worse. It just doesn't look good, and it's less precise to control.
Yeah.
So a big dislike from me on those type of games.
Yeah.
Big like on this type of game.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it. So if you are hearing this, you're hearing it on the public feed. This is the end of the preview for this episode. The way to hear the entire episode is to become a patron. If you go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, $5 a month gives you all of these. We've been doing them for about a year and a half now. So roughly 18, 18 or 17 episodes, premium episodes, some really cool stuff in there. And if you just patronize and then you have to duck out, we understand. It is a feature. You get access to the archives. You also get a lot of other shows. We think that we provide a really good value for $5 a month. So $1.25 a week. We know that means different things to different people, but we don't we think that you're getting a lot of stuff for that. So.
If you are listening specifically to a Castlevania thing, you would probably enjoy our horror podcast about Lovecraft film adaptations and TV adaptations, Unfilmable. You get all of those at the $5 level. Similarly, you get all of our Dark Souls series, the reboot of Bonfireside Chat. If you are, curious about things that, feel kind of like this sometimes, maybe. I'm not reaching, you're reaching.
DNA. Yeah, exactly. They have a little bit of DNA. We think it's a good value. We appreciate you listening this far, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah.
And take care.
Take care.